Okay, so hello, we're back at it again. So let's try to make the best 10 minutes, that we are gonna be listening to every single day. So um, I've been listening to my videos, a lot more often these days. And so, and yeah, I can tell that there are so many things that I should improve on those things. Okay, so well, I didn't really have a plan on whatever it is that I should be talking about, but you know, I sort of realized that doing something like this is a privilege. So being able to you know talk and show myself on camera, this is a privilege. And although not many people are listening to whatever it is that I am making, I listen to myself. And each time that I listen to my videos, at some point I start to think how, like, yeah, it really is a privilege to be able to do this, even though nobody is listening. So I'm starting to accept that it is not really about the numbers. You know, it's not about whether a lot of people are listening to whatever it is that I'm saying or not, but whether the message is there. And even though the my message isn't really that great, it matters to me. It has an impact to me. And if it has an impact towards me, then that's good enough. So I don't need to change the world. The world is already perfect in itself, despite all of the bad things that is happening all around us. That's just how life is, and suffering is also part of life. It is also part of life, and therefore I shouldn't I shouldn't deny that part of life. So I am suffering because I wish that things would be better, but this isn't so bad. The quiet, and I know that with attention comes a lot of turmoil as well. So, as I have said before, attention is only good if it is the good kind of attention that you are getting, because there is absolutely bad attention as well. There are a lot of people who have a lot of bad things to say towards other people. And we have experienced being on the other side of that as well. So not all attention is good. And if we are not getting attention by doing good, by trying to attract the good kind of attention, and we aren't getting that result, that's not a problem. As you know, even if we aren't getting the kind of attention that we are hoping for, we shouldn't settle for the bad kind of attention. So having no attention at all is better than attracting the bad kind of attention. So this is good, and we just have to keep on practicing all of this until we really get better and better. So um, we had I had a thought earlier, you know. So I used to be really afraid of people being able to listen in on my thoughts. You know, I used to write a lot. I write a lot of diaries or journal a lot. And when I was in elementary, I started writing in elementary, just scribbling on notebooks on the things that I wanted to say. And I used to try all of those things, and I always felt that, you know, it is scary, or I don't want people to be able to listen or read in on the things that I am working on. But now that I am here, now that I have started, I started on publicizing my works. I started to publicize my thoughts. Um, Although maybe it is not the kind of thing that I wanted to realize, but people just don't care. People don't care about the things that I'm making. And I thought that, I was sure that the things that I developed were amazing or stuff like that, but it was only in my head. And maybe that's just what it is. All this fear, all this nervousness, it is all in the head. And yeah, I'm thinking about just how far I can push this realization, Does this fear of failure also just comes from my head? Is this fear of, you know, this fear of inconveniencing other people, just a fear on my own head? And maybe people don't mind that, I inconvenience them. Maybe they're fine with it. So I'm just really learning on how to push that side of myself. And another interesting thing is that people cannot see whatever it is, everything that I'm making. So interestingly about the fourth dimension, right, is because the fourth dimension, you can see everything in the 3D world. So you can see everything, and therefore, assuming that you are in a 4D world, you would be able to see from start to finish of this video in one look. But people in this, reality, this 3D world, you wouldn't be able to do that. So in order to fully see whatever it is that I'm making, we will have to look at it frame by frame and, timeline. So you have to really start from the beginning to the end. And so the beautiful thing about that is that if people get bored, on the first part of the video, they wouldn't be able to look at whatever it is that I am making now. The only thing that they would see is the part that they are looking at. So, yeah, I guess that's the very interesting thing about all of this, is that people aren't able to look at all of the picture, they only see one part of the picture, and that's just how it is. People cannot see the entire thing. They can only see what is right in front of them. And so that fact allows me, to just say whatever it is that what I want to say, because most likely they aren't gonna listen to those parts. It's a long video, and not everyone wants to sit through all of this that I am making. And yeah, and also I guess that, part of me was upset yesterday, I would say. I heard some things that I didn't want to hear. I heard some things that I disagree with. And I wasn't able to refute the things that I heard. And so that really bothered me because, you know, it just goes to show that maybe I still lack the ability to fully respond, um, towards attacks towards me. And, I look at it not that I lost the argument, but that there is still so much work that I need to work on myself. There is still so much, that I should work in order to really try and get people to do whatever it is that we want to do, that we want them to do. So we have a long, we still have a long way to go, but at the very least, I have a general framework that allows me to stay calm and level-headed towards the arguments. It's just that the issue is that I had trouble trying to refute, because if I were to refute, then it would result in a full-blown war, which isn't really advisable. And I don't want to, cause more harm than trouble. So there's too much at risk, and staying silent was, I believe, to be the best option. But that will not do for us. No, staying silent will result in us not being able to influence the situation. The person who talks will be the one who will lead the conversation. And that is something that we need to work on, because that is not something that we can always allow. So we need to be able to influence the conversation towards our advantage. At least that's the general goal. Okay. And then there were a lot of topics as well that I need to address, which is why I wasn't able to refute, right? So we also need to discuss about our stance on whether we should go back to, you know, the building where we learn. We need to go back there. But first, I really want to develop this, I really want to develop this skill first. I want to develop whatever it is that I'm developing right now. And after I develop this, things will align, because what's great, what is so good in having a weapon if you do not know how to take advantage of that weapon, right? So, yeah, I guess that's just it. So it's almost 15 minutes. So I guess that'll it be for today, and I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.